to me. Open up now.
You don't look so good, Mom.
Nothing a big old kiss from you won't fix.
Evil Dead Rise is a twisted tale of two estranged sisters whose reunion gets cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons, thrusting them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish version of family imaginable. This movie was f***ing awesome, and if you're a horror fan, and especially if you're an Evil Dead fan, you definitely need to watch this in theaters. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And not only that, but I think this movie is the perfect example of how to add a new installment into a franchise, because with all these horror franchises that we have nowadays, I gotta say, I haven't been impressed with their latest entries.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
So today I'm going to analyze what this movie did to stand out in the franchise despite it being the 5th addition to the series. Everybody loves a good sequel in a franchise, but the problem with sequels is that they often try to repeat the formula of the original movie, which makes the sequel feel like a copy. In order to have a good sequel, you need to add new elements, because what's the point of going to see a movie if it's just going to be the same as the original? You might as well just stay home and watch the original and save some money. So if you want to have a sequel that is worthy of existence, you need to ask yourself, what is different? And one of the things that this movie does really well is that it changes the setting. Because the Cabin in the Woods storyline has been used for pretty much every movie in this franchise, and not only that, the Cabin in the Woods storyline has been a drastically overused horror trope in general. I mean, just think about how many movies we've seen with a goddamn cabin in the woods. I mean, enough already. I don't want to see another movie with a cabin in the woods.
Stop it.
And this is where this movie shines through, because it is not in a cabin in the woods, it is in an apartment building, which is super refreshing for the audience. This change in setting allows for new and creative ways for the demons to attack and terrify the characters that we haven't seen before. And I will give credit to Scream 6, even though I didn't like the movie personally, they did get out of their comfort zone and try to change the setting by going to New York, and some of my favorite scenes in that movie was because they were in New York. So hats off to the movies that actually try and take a risk to do something new and creative instead of just doing the same thing over and over again. Good acting performances are usually intangibles because you either have good actors or you don't, and they either show up and pull it off or they don't, so it's not something you can really plan for, but I have to give a shout out to Alyssa Sutherland because she is fantastic in this movie, and definitely the standout performance. I mean, as soon as she gets possessed and shit starts hitting the fan, she is amazing in this film and she steals the show. Not saying that the other actors were bad or anything, but when she is on, she definitely stole the show. I know we don't give awards for performances like these in horror movies, but goddamn, Alyssa Sutherland deserves to be nominated for an award. I mean, she was that good in the movie. And I also want to give a shout out to Luke Pulte, who's the prosthetics designer. He did a fantastic job. I mean, the makeup and design of the look of Ellie in this movie is awesome. And when I say awesome, I mean terrifying. I mean, I still think this is the scariest looking demon we've seen in this entire franchise so far. So in conclusion, even if you don't like the movie, I still think you'll walk away appreciating Alyssa Sutherland's performance, and you'll still have a good time just watching the movie because it is aesthetically pleasing. The shots in this movie are great, the practical effects are awesome. I mean, you're just gonna have a fun time just looking at the screen. So as I was saying earlier, in order to have a good sequel, you need to have new elements, or the existing character dynamics need to evolve. And even though these are standalone movies, they technically did evolve the character dynamics, because the recipe has been pretty much the same for all of these movies. It's a bunch of teenagers that are friends or boyfriends and girlfriends end up in a cabin in the woods. Now the character situation has evolved into family dynamics, which is much more intense. I mean, just think about it. It's your own flesh and blood. Could you imagine seeing your mom or your brother or sister trying to kill you, and then you would have to kill them? I mean, it's much more intense than just killing someone you met in college or like a boyfriend or girlfriend that you're just hooking up with. So in a way, this movie did both of that. It added new elements by changing the setting, and it evolved the character dynamics from simply teenagers and friends to straight up family. Now, just like everything in life, this movie isn't perfect, so let's talk about some of the flaws. And if I'm being honest, there was only really one thing that I had a problem with in this movie, which is the intro and outro of the movie. I thought the introduction of this movie was spectacular, and it really grabbed my attention. And that is part of the reason why I think it's a flaw, because I believe it was a missed opportunity. Because they used the classic hook technique, which is pretty much just showing the audience an intense piece of action with no context to get their attention and get them excited, and then continue to start the story from the beginning and then tie that scene in at the end. The problem with this movie though is they had a great introduction and they didn't tie it at the end. I mean, it literally has zero connection to the movie and it serves no purpose for like the main story. So that kind of sucks, because I do think the introduction was captivating. It got my attention. I was super excited to see what was going to happen and how this was going to tie in at the end, especially this shot with like the girl levitating out of the water. I mean, I was like, yes, this is going to be awesome. But like I said, it had very little tie-ins to the main narrative. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have you guys seen Evil Dead Rise yet? If you have, comment below. Did you guys like it? Is it the favorite one in the franchise for you? Let me know. And as always, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.